All right. Well, last time I was came up with like a convoluted way to cut these slots in this square tubing for my outdoor bar stools. And as I was editing the video, I realized that was a dumb way of doing it. There's a better way of doing it. I can actually just use just cut a rectangle, and the challenge on getting this in the right spot on this one inch square was kind of establishing a reference. So what I ended up doing was I came over here in sheet cam, and I used sheet cam's tools, and I created my 1 inch by 0.146 slot. And I have the lead in and lead out to be perpendicular coming in, right, coming near the center, but it's basically in the center. We'll talk about why that is. And I brought it over into fire control. So now I need to establish a reference. So I have this whole thing fixtured up because I need to do several of these legs. And so what I need to do over here is find a reference point. But over here on fire control, what I've done is I've set the origin to right here in the center. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of move towards about a half an inch in from this end. And when I cut this rectangle, I'm just going to make it so that I'm going to make it so that the rectangle, this end, is cutting off the edge of the tubing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me change this to continuous over here. So what I did was I moved my little reference dot kind of to this edge here on the square tubing, and I set a 0 point here. Then I moved exactly 1 inch, and I saw that reference dot is about on the same spot as the other side. So if I make this a 0, here, I'm going to use my the fire control to bump me up a half an inch. That will get me right in the center. So if I make that 0 and bump up a half an inch, and then I went and I found, so I'm not going to change my 0 point now, but you get the idea. So I got somewhere around in here, and then I set this space right there. I've kind of rolled off the edge of the tube, and I set it 0 there. Then I came back about half an inch, and so it's about there. So then I zeroed X and Y right there. So by doing that, if I have my reference in the center here, it's going to cut this rectangle out, and we'll go ahead and try it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit dry run over here, and I'm going to change the feed rate down to really slow, and we'll give this a dry run with the really slow feed rate. We'll kind of see how it does here. So here we go. Okay, so it's going to cut off the edge. It's going to come along, cut my slot out. Okay, now the beauty of this approach is that when I do a pierce time, when I pierce the top level, it actually goes up it comes out of the bottom. But because I'm in the middle of my slot, when I flip this part over upside down, when I cut the second side, the piercing on the second side will go through the slot of the first side. So it should be good. So let's go ahead and try this. So I'm running compressed air at 125 psi. I'm 1500 watts. My feed rate's 120 inches per minute. And we're going to go here. So we're going to turn off dry run, and we're ready to go. Okay, that looked pretty good. So raise up here a little bit. Get out of the way. Here's our slot right there. So what I'm going to do again is I'm just going to take my piece, turn it upside down, run it again. All right. Change my speed up here a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at this tube. So we got squared ends. They look pretty good from the top. No blemishes, nothing. All right. Well, I call that a success. Thanks for watching.